Hey everyone, and welcome to the school year 2023 to 2024. So for today's video, we'll be having first subject orientation for the history of English language. And for the code of the history of English language, we have ELS 101. So ELS 101 is one of the major subjects of our students for Bachelor of Arts in English Language Studies. So let's proceed. So under the subject orientation, of course, we're going to be dealing with, of course, first is about the background of the professor, about the subject orientation itself, the learning modality that we're going to use and utilize as we try to have our subject history of English language, the performance tasks that you're going to deal with as we try to look into the history of English language, and of course, the house rules as we try to look into the discussion of the topics and looking into the this semester class. So let's proceed. So once again, everyone, I would like to introduce myself. I am your professor for the history of English language for the course code of ELS 101. So I am Miss Maria Jessica Alcimilia. So I am a graduate of Master of Arts in Education, major in language teaching, and I am a licensed professional teacher. And currently I am taking my Doctor of Education major in curriculum development. So let's proceed. So for the course description of the history of English language, particularly this course explains the external, historical, political, cultural forces and internal, changes in the language features in the history of the English language. So more or less, as you try to look into the history of English language, we're going to trace the different years where there is significant experiences, significant, timeline that happened through the evolution of the history of English language, and of course, the spread of the English language across the world and across from the different, continent. So let's proceed. So for the learning modality that we're going to utilize in the subject of the history of English language, of course, we're going to have the class schedule of yours every Monday. So it is reflected into your schedule already for the BAOS 1A and then BAOS 1B. So if you have a problem with your class schedule, let me know. So the learning modality that we're going to utilize here is the blended learning. So blended learning is basically more of we're trying to use the flexible way of learning the subject. So in short, we're going to use online and we're going to use also face-to-face. So anyway, whenever we're going to have face-to-face, I will be, informing you beforehand before you go here. So since we are really having a hard time looking for classrooms because of our building for the College of Arts and Social Sciences is still ongoing. So another one is it is reflected into the syllabus that I have uploaded into your Google Classroom, the time that you can consult me in terms of the subject of the history of English language. So let's proceed. For the course objectives of our class, of course, we have you are about to give a short historical sketch of how the spread of the English language happened. Second, you're about to describe the progressive evolution of the language from Old English to the present-day English. Next is you're about to trace the internal history of English through the development of its forms and structures, phonological, morphological, syntactic, and semantic. And of course, we are about to trace the external history of English by identifying the factors, the economic, the political, social, and cultural that influence the development of English. So basically, you're about to appreciate the role of political related changes in the structure of English, and you're about to use textual evidences to hypothesize about external influences in language development, and you're about to demonstrate a thorough understanding of diachronic changes in English from Old English to present-day English. And you will have the ability to situate those in their socio-political context. So you're about to expose yourself from the, different times of Chaucer, the Canterbury Tales, the Old English, like the Anglo-Saxon and all. So let's proceed. Another course objective that you're about to have is about you're about to assess the growth of English as a global language. So we're not looking only the English as particularly in terms of the history, but we're trying to look into the use of English language into a global context. So we're about to explain the emergence of world English in terms of politics, economics, the press, advertising, broadcasting, education, and communication. So in terms of performance tasks that you're gonna be dealing with in this history of English language, I'll be sending you worksheets, or I'll be providing you worksheets wherein under that worksheets there are reflected performance tasks. These performance tasks are reflected into your course syllabus. So we have time traveler's journal and comparative analysis of language evolution, crafting scrapbook for the analysis for linguistic remnants, performing a dramatic reading or theatrical adaptation. And the third one also is we have a modern English debate for the language and technology. Presenting also multilingual symposium and creating a captivating multimedia presentation that explores the impact of the digital age on the English language. Another also are about to create a dramatic recitation in looking at the Canterbury Tales and creating a theatrical production or dramatic reading of a selected excerpt from one of the Shakespeare's play. So if you're gonna be looking at it, there are lots of performance tasks that you're about to do, because if you're gonna be looking into the story or into the context of the history of English language, medyo talaga nakaka-boring siya. So to that, we really have to adopt, different, performance task in terms of contextualize one, so that you will imbibe and you will get the idea of what is the content of in under history of English language. So under also performance task, we're about to explore potential language changes and adaptation in the future. And at the end of the history of English language, we're about to have a critical analysis of, researches of under history of English language. So anyway, before I give you the performance task, I will be, of course, explaining to you different performance tasks before I let you do it. So just in case that if you have any questions, whenever you have activities for your performance task, please don't hesitate to ask me about it, so that we will have one, consistent instructions and directions on how are you gonna do it. So, and really to avoid confusion and misinterpretation of the directions. So let's proceed. So on how are we going to on how am I gonna be evaluating you as a student in the history of English language? Of course, you're about to have the 40% for the major examination. That includes the midterms and finals. And of course, we have also course requirements, 30% wherein it includes the worksheets, papers, documents, and we have also portfolio. So under performance criteria is about the quizzes. So every other lesson we're about to have quizzes, which is like 20%, and then of course attendance 10%. So at the total of 100%. So let's proceed. So under this history of English language, I know it was reiterated already by the president of the college that automatic, if you have late submission of your output or your activity, automatic it's stress already. So meaning just for passing grade. So if you're gonna be equating that one when you were in senior high school or when you were high school, that's only 75%. So if you're really aiming for, cum laude, magna, or summa cum laude, it's a no-no for that. So I am expecting as your behavior that you're about to have active engagement in terms of looking for earlier submission of your activities. Try to look into the timeline that were given to you so that you will not be late in terms of its submission. Another, of course, you need to be prepared whenever we're having a class, so that whenever we will have recitation, it's easy for you to answer the question. Third one is, of course, respectful behavior. I know sometimes that we're going to use the GC or the group chat whenever we're communicating, since, of course, some of our lessons or some of our sessions are into online. On the other hand, we have also face-to-face. So either face-to-face or online, we are expecting that you are doing the respectful behavior in a way that you're using, appropriate, good behavior in terms of chatting at our GC, and trying to look into being sensitive on what are you saying or messaging into our GC. So before you message, make sure that you have already, cricket, try to look at it, look at the words that you have, said. So always, practice netiquette in terms of the use of online. On the other hand, we have also the face-to-face. So under respectful behavior, of course, I know you are very familiar already in terms of the respectful behavior, like greetings, talking to your professor, in appropriate manner, not only to your professor, but also, of course, to your classmates. Of course, another one is critical thinking skills. So we are expecting that you are already in college. So we are expecting that you are critical thinkers. So not only advanced thinkers, but you need to be critical thinkers in a way that all your outputs are reflected. That means that the outputs that are submitted are really, presented by critical thinkers. Really, they have really looked into it, studied it, and of course, all the things that are being, recited whenever we're going to have recitation, you really think about it. You really look at whatever you do, whatever you say, and whatever you think. So another one is about you need to be responsible for your own learning. So there are times that I'll be giving you worksheets that you're about to do. So for the different tasks, so it's your responsibility that sometimes you're going to be doing independent learning. So not all the time, me or I as your professor will be giving the discussion. So there are times that there are discussions already in your worksheet and you're about to read it independently, learn it independently, and therefore, moving on, you can already, answer already what is into the worksheet. So responsibility for learning is looking at your holistic development for your heart, mind, body, and soul in looking and enrolling here at History of English Language. Now, if you have any questions, as one of the expected behavior also from you is that you need to ask me. And if you have complaints also, you need to tell me and don't ask anyone because not no one can give you solutions to the problems that you have addressed. So not your classmate or not the other teachers or not other professors or not even the dean. You need to consult it first to me, and then if we cannot decide on it, we can ask help from the college team. So again, be responsible for your own learning because you are already adult. I know some of you are already under not a minor anymore. You're 18, 19, or 20 and all. So basically, I am expecting a more responsible student in the history of English language. So anyway, I'm always open to to our GC, and I'm always open for your PM or public, personal message. But make sure that you try to respect also my time for sleeping and for resting. So we have our time for like 8 to 4. 8 to 5 that you are about to, you can, message me and PM me already. So if I cannot, address your question, personally, in terms of PM, you can message that one into our GC so that everyone can see your concerns and issues. So I guess that would be all, everyone. I know you are already responsible and good students and really, looking into as a college student and having an idea and having a mind already of being a professional. I guess that would be all, everyone. So I would like to end our subject orientation with the following quote. Exploring the tapestry of time through the subject of history of English, the history of English language unveils its evolution, revealing how linguistic currents of the past shape the shores of our communications today. So we are not living in the past, but of course, past is a mirror of what we have in the future. So that would be all, everyone. Have a nice day. And if you have, question, a message into our GC. So thank you.